Welcome back. You know what time it is. It's library time. Say hi. Can you say hi? Well, I'm Mrs. Magera, and you know our special guest, who basically is just a regular time person. It's Benjamin. Well, we, this week, are reading another one of my favorites, and I know I say that a lot, but it really is. This is a classic book that we read every year, and I'm surprised we haven't read it yet this year. So we're going to fix that and read it this week. But if you guys have been here in past years, you've definitely heard this book, and it's a favorite of many. You may have even seen a movie called this. It's very, very good. It's called, actually, let me hint. It's by my favorite author, my favorite children's author. Who's that? It's about being heard when no one believes you. And now this one's really going to give away. It's about an elephant. Can anyone guess what it is? Well, it's Horton Hears a Who! Yay! It's Horton Hears a Who! First time you'll hear this story. Horton Hears a Who. Well, let's just dive right on in. By Dr. Seuss. On the 15th of May, in the jungle of Newell, in the heat of the day, in the cool of the pool, he was splashing, enjoying the jungle's great joys, when Horton the elephant heard a small noise. So look, he looks so happy. He's just starting his day. So Horton stopped splashing. He looked toward the sound. That's funny, thought Horton. There's no one around. Then he heard it again, just a very faint yelp, as if some tiny person was calling for help. I'll help you, said Horton, but who are you? Where? He looked and he looked, but he could see nothing but a small speck of dust blowing past through the air. Look there. There's Horton, and he thinks he heard something like a little yelp. I say, muttered Horton, I've never heard tell of a small speck of dust what is able to yell. So you know what I think? Why, I think that there must be someone on top of that small speck of dust. Some sort of creature of very small size, too small to be seen by an elephant's eye. So he thinks that he heard someone yelling on a piece of dust. Oh, we must hear more. Some poor little person who is shaking with fear that'll blow in the pool. He has no way to steer. I'll have to save him because after all, a person's a person, no matter how small. So that's what he's imagining is happening, that there's this little piece of dust and there's just a person on the dust. So, gently and using the greatest of care, the elephant stretched his great trunk in the air, and he lifted the dust speck and carried it over and placed it down safe on a soft clover. So there he is. He's putting the dust on a clover, which is like a flower. Humph, humped a voice. 'Twas a sour kangaroo, and the young kangaroo in her pouch said humph too. Why, that speck is as small as the head of a pin. A person on that? Why, there never has been. Look at that. So there's the kangaroo, the mama kangaroo and the baby kangaroo, and they do not believe that there is a person on the speck. Believe me, said Horton, I tell you sincerely, my ears are quite keen, and I heard him quite clearly. I know there's a person down there, and what's more, quite likely there's two, even three, even four, quite likely a family. Oh, that we know, a family with children just starting to grow. So please, Horton said, as a favor to me, try not to disturb them. Just please let them be. So now he's like, there's not just one person on this speck, there's a ton of people on the speck. I think you're a fool, laughed the sour kangaroo. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, me too. And the biggest blame fool in the jungle of Newell. And the kangaroos plunged in the cool of the pool. What a terrible splashing, the elephant frowned. I can't let you let my very small persons get drowned. I've got to protect them. I'm bigger than they. So he plucked the clover and he hustled away. So there they are. Are the kangaroos being very nice to Horton? No, they are not being very nice to Horton. Through the high jungle treetops, the news quickly spread. He talks to a guest speck. He's out of his head. Just look at him walk with that speck on that flower. And Horton walked worrying almost an hour. Should I put the speck down? Horton thought with alarm. If I do, these small persons may come to great harm. I can't put it down, and I won't after all. A person's a person, no matter how small. So now the kangaroos are telling the entire jungle about it, and now the whole jungle is being mean to Horton. Can you believe that? I know we have to show everyone the picture. Can we show everyone the picture? Yeah, we gotta show everyone. See? Then Horton stopped walking. The speak voice was talking. The voice was so faint and he could just barely hear it. Speak up, please, said Horton. He put his ear to it. My friend, came the voice. You're a very fine friend. You've helped all of us folks on this dust speck no end. You've saved all of our houses, our ceilings and floors. You've saved all of our churches and our grocery stores. So now, the person on the desk, he's talking to Horton. But it doesn't sound like there's just one person on it. It sounds like there's a whole town. You mean? Horton gasped. You have buildings there too? Oh yes, piped the voice. We most certainly do. I know, called the voice. I'm too small to be seen, but I'm mayor of a town that is friendly and clean. Our buildings to you would seem terribly small, but to us, we aren't big. They are wonderfully tall. My town is called Whoville, for I am a Who, and we Whos are all thankful and grateful to you. And Horton called back to the mayor of the town, You're safe now. Don't worry. I won't let you down. Look, so there is the whole town. There's a bunch of people. That's like all of Suriname on a little tiny dust speck. Ooh. But just as he spoke to the mayor of the speck, 3 big jungle monkeys climbed up Horton's neck. The Wickersham brothers came shouting, What rock? This elephant's talking to who's? What? Who are not? They aren't any Whos, and I don't have a mayor, and we're going to stop all this nonsense. So there. Look at that. So now a bunch of monkeys are climbing on Horton. Oh, we don't eat library books. There we go. Look at that. So now they're climbing on Horton. What are they going to do to the dust speck? What are they going to do? What are they going to do, Ben? They snatched Horton's clover. They carried it off to a black-bottomed eagle named Vladislav, a mighty strong eagle, a very swift wing. And they said, Will you kindly get rid of this thing? And before the poor elephant even could speak, that eagle flew off with the flower on his beak. Oh my goodness, look, so there's Horton and he's running, and now this eagle has left the building. All that late afternoon and far into the night, that black-bottomed bird flapped his wings in his fast flight, while Horton chased after with groans over stones that tattered his toenails and battered his bones, and begged, Please don't harm all my little folks who have as much right to live as us bigger folks. But far, far beyond him, that eagle kept flapping, and over his shoulder called back, Quit your yapping! I'll fly the night through! I'm a bird! I don't mind it! And I'll hide this tomorrow where you'll never find it! So look, now it's night. There's the bird up here. And there's Horton, who's climbing a mountain. Oh no, what is he? Wow, guys. Let's see where he's gonna drop this thing. Oh no, that doesn't look good. And at 6:56 the next morning he did it. It was a terrible place that he hid it. He let the small clover drop somewhere inside of a great patch of clovers 100 miles wide. "Find that," sneered the bird, "but I think you will fail." And he left with a flip of his black-bottomed tail. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine I don't know about you, but I think that I might just give up in that moment. Do you think that Horton is going to give up? Do you guys think Horton is going to give up? Let's find out. "I'll find it," cried Horton. "I'll find it or bust. I shall find my friends on my small speck of dust." And clover by clover with care, he picked up and searched them and called, "Are you there?" But clover by clover, he found that the one that he sought for was just not around. And by noon, poor old Horton, more dead than alive, had picked, searched, and piled up 9,005. Wow, that is so many clovers. Then on through the afternoon, hour after hour, till he found them at last on the 3 millionth flower. "My friends," cried the elephant, "tell me, do tell! Are you safe? Are you sound? Are you whole? Are you well?" Oh my word, he found them! Can you believe it? He found them, Ben! Wow. Let's see what happened. From down on the speck came the voice of the mare. "We've really had trouble, much more than our share. When that black-bottomed birdie let go and we dropped, we landed so hard that our clocks have all stopped. Our teapots are broken, our rocking chair smashed, and our bicycle tires all blew up when we crashed. So Horton, please," pleaded the voice of the mare, "will you stick by the Who's while we make our repairs?" "Of course," Horton answered. "Of course I will stick. I will stick by you small folks through thin and through thick." So look at that. That is so sad. So when they fell, everything started to break. Isn't that so sad? It's very sad. "Humph," humped a voice. "For almost 2 days you've ruined, run wild, and insisted on chatting with persons who've never existed. Such a caring son on our peaceable jungle. We've had quite enough of your bellowing bungle. And I'm here to state," snapped the big kangaroo, "that your silly, nonsensical game is all through." And all the young kangaroos in her pouch said, "Me too." So look at that. Why do they care is what I want to know. But they do not look happy. With the help of the Wickersham brothers and dozens of Wickersham uncles and Wickersham cousins and Wickersham in-laws whose help I've engaged, you're going to be roped and you're going to be caged. And as for your dust speck, that we shall boil in hot steaming kettle of bezelnut oil." "Boil it?" gasped Horton. "Oh, that you can't do. It's all full of persons. They'll prove it to you." So I don't know what's up with this kangaroo, but I feel like this kangaroo woke up and just chose madness. It was like, I'm just going to ruin Horton's day. "Mr. Mayor," Horton called. "Mr. Mayor, you've got to prove now that you really are there. So call a big meeting, get everyone out, make sure every who holler, make every who shout, make every who scream. If you don't, every who is going to end up in bezelnut stew." So Horton is like, "Guys, I need your help. They're not listening to me. I need you all to help. Do you think the Who's can do it? Let's find out." And down on the dust speck, who the scared little mayor quick called a big meeting in Whoville Town Square. And his people cried loudly, they cried out in fear, "We're here, we're here, we're here, we're here." So they're all going into the square. Where's the mayor? I'm guessing that's the mayor. He seems to have the megaphone. He's telling everyone, like, "Guys, this is the time. This is the time for us to shine." The elephant smiled. "That was clear as a bell. You kangaroos surely heard that very well." All I heard, snapped the big kangaroo, was the breeze and the faint sound of wind through the far distant trees. I heard no small voices, and you didn't either. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, me neither. Look at that. So there they are making the stew. And what emotion is the kangaroo showing right now? I feel like a little bit madness, a little irritation probably, disbelief. Grab him, they shouted, and cage the big dope. Lasso his stomach with 10 miles of rope. Tie the knots tight, he'll never shake loose. Then dunk that dumb speck in the beetle nut juice. Horton fought back with great vigor and vim, but the Wickersham gang was too many for him. They beat him, they mauled him, they started to haul him into his cage, but he managed to call to the mare, don't give up, I believe in you all. A person's a person, no matter how small. And you very small persons will not have to die if you make yourselves heard. So come on now, try. So there they are. It has to, the fact that it took all those monkeys just to get that elephant, and look there is the kangaroo, and there's the little clover. What's gonna happen next? The mayor grabbed a tom-tom, he started to smack it, and all over Whoville they whooped up a racket. They rattled tin kettles, they beat on brass pans, on garbage pail tops and old cranberry cans. They blew on bazookas and blasted great toots, on clarinets, oomphas and boomphas and flutes. Look at all of that. Man, they're making a whole lot of noise. Can you imagine? That's a lot of noise. Great gusts and loud rockets rang high through the air. They rattled and shook the whole sky, and the mayor called up through the howling and the hullabaloo. Hey, Horton, how's this? Is our sound coming through? And Horton called back, I can hear you just fine, but the kangaroo's ears aren't as strong as mine. Quiet as mine, they didn't hear a thing. Are you sure all your boys are doing their best? Are they all making noise? Are you sure every who down in Whoville is working? Quick, look through your town. Is there anyone shirking? So shirking means like shirking responsibility is usually like maybe a sentence you could hear. And that means like they're not doing their part. That's kind of what he's saying. So what he's saying is every single Whoville making noise. Through the town rushed the mayor from the east to the west, but everyone seemed to be doing his best. Everyone seemed to be yapping or yipping. Everyone seemed to be beeping or bipping, but it wasn't enough. All this ruckus and roar, he had to find someone and help him make him more. He raced through each building. He searched floor to floor. Well, I don't know about you, but this mayor is going fast. And look, there's all the other Whovilles yelling and yelling, doing their best. And just as he felt as he was getting nowhere and almost about to give up in despair, he suddenly bust through a door, and that mayor discovered one shirker quite hidden away in the Fairfax Apartments, apartment 12J. A very small shirker named Jojo was just standing and bouncing a yo-yo. Not making a sound, not a yip, not a chirp, and the mayor rushed inside and grabbed that young twerp. So he was not very happy with this young little guy. There he is, he's just playing with the yo-yo. He's not making any noise. And he climbed with the lad up the Eiffelberg Tower. This, cried the mayor, is your town's darkest hour. The time for all who have blood that is red to come out to the aid of their country, he said. We've got to make noises in greater amounts, so open your mouth, lad, for every voice counts. Thus he spoke as he climbed. When they got to the top, the lad cleared his throat and he shouted out, Yop! Do you think that's going to make a difference? Let's find out. And that yop, that one small extra yop, put it over. Finally, at last, from that speck on that clover, their voices were heard. They rang out clear and clean, and the elephant smiled. Do you see what I mean? They proved they are persons, no matter how small, and their whole world was saved by the smallest of all. How true, yes, how true, said the big kangaroo. And from now on, you know what I'm planning to do? From now on, I'm going to protect them with you. And the youngest kangaroo in her pouch said. So look, they all heard, and the kangaroo was like, oh, my bad. Even though it just tried to boil it, but I guess that's fine. But what did the youngest kangaroo say? Me too! From sun in the summer, from rain when it's fallish, I'm going to protect them, no matter how smallish. Look at that. And they all learned their lesson. What is that lesson? Well, there's a couple. First one, a person's a person, no matter how small. Isn't that so true? It doesn't matter if you're small, big, rich, poor, anything like that. A person is a person. And look at that little, you know that little who wasn't saying anything, Jojo? Because he was like, I'm so small. What's the difference going to be? But there was a difference. And so he did his part. And just don't never think like, oh, I'm just so small and little. What's the point of me? I'm not going to vote on anything. It doesn't, I'm just one vote. I'm just one person. No, you can make a difference, right? Okay, guys, well, let's pray, and then we'll be done with the library for the week. Dear Jesus, I just want to thank you for each one of these little persons. They're so sweet, and we're just so thankful that we get to know all of them. Please help that they know how special they are, that you made them each so individually. We thank you so much for the teachers who pour into them every single week, and we ask for them to have energy. And we just thank you so much wherever these kids are. Lord, please bless them. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, guys, we will see you next week for story time. Bye.